we're finding that when the targeted individual puts on my sound mix, my jammer CD, with the COS headphones, that it interferes with this technology, the part of it called a biorelevant feedback loop. In other words, if you're going to target somebody, you have to have real-time data from that skull. Not 10 minutes later, there can't be any delay. They have to know exactly, precisely where you are and your brainwave pattern to influence that brainwave pattern. And what my CD does is it jams that biorelevant feedback loop, and they lose the data collection, or signal intelligence is the proper word, because this is all falls under the CIA and NSA's signal intelligence program. And we're finding that my jammer CD not only stops the artificial tinnitus, but stops the v2k or voices. It stops hyperacusis. It stops many forms of electronic harassment, because, like I say, they must have real-time data to attack that person. And when they lose that, the whole thing begins to break down. And my CD stops the voices. It interferes with that transmission, and the person is freed. I give all the credit to the creator, because I believe he helped me make this device, this countermeasure. And I mean, it's just, I feel better than the day before I was attacked. I'm healthier. We're finding my CD causes neuroplasticity, which is essentially neural rebooting or neural healing. So the CD packs a 1-2 punch. It interferes with the targeting equipment and helps the brain heal. So it's a godsend to me and over 2,000 people so far.
So how did you find the frequency to counteract this?
Well, like I said, I did not find anything. I randomly wired, after I begged God for help, I randomly wired 2 555 oscillator chips together to try to make a sound that was similar to my artificial tinnitus, to interfere with it. And I just accidentally made this device. It has 7 kinds of interference on it. And a study was done in the United Kingdom by Dr. Dainshen of the British Association of Cognitive Neuroscience, and he found that there's 2.8 megahertz of ultrasonics on my jammer CD. Now, this frequency is known in medical journals to cause neuroplasticity and heal many parts of the body. No headphones are supposed to reproduce this, because headphones usually only go to 20 kilohertz to 25 kilohertz. But Dr. Dainshen says that it's making its way through the COS headphones by way of magnetostriction. And it's a phenomenon known in when you electrify a wire, it actually lengthens. When you take away the electricity, it shortens. It's a really strange phenomenon, but he says that we all, our users of my CD, are getting the 2.8 megahertz that is so beneficial and interferes with this technology. So, but the answer to your question is there are many frequencies and pulses and sounds on my CD.
So you said that you are no longer being molested, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So how did that work? I cannot imagine that you walked around 24/7 with a headphone.
No. You do not have to listen to the CD forever. The pattern we're seeing, the average length of time you need to listen to the CD is 3 weeks, every night, all night, while sleeping. Now, when they first get it, they should play it in the daytime for a couple hours to get used to the chaotic sounds, because it's really different. It's strange at first, but after a few days, as neuroplastic changes occur, you actually crave it. So now I do see people getting results after a few days. Some people do take a little longer, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, etc. And then once you knock out the biorelevant feedback loop, your tinnitus is gone, or your other effects, then you may only have to play it once a week or once every 2 weeks. Now, I built that device for 99 cents, that device, and it knocks out billions of dollars worth of technology. So it's just not in their interest to keep going. In other words, the CD masks your biosignature. It masks what they're trying to read. Yeah, they can't read your biosignature. They can't tell exactly where I'm at. They can't direct the energy to my skull. They don't know where my skull is.
So could you tell us a little bit what your field of expertise was as an electronic engineer and what type of inventions you did?
Sure. I started out really young, learning electronics, teaching myself, actually. Around 6 years old, I started tearing apart my toys and making new ones out of them. And then I started experimenting with electricity. And by the time I was 8 or 9 years old, I had built several things. A digital door lock. I built my own chemistry set. I was making hydrogen by scratching zinc off the trash can and mixing it with different things. And I was growing copper sulfate crystals, which are real pretty blue crystals, almost like a blue sapphire. And I advanced very quickly on my own with no teaching whatsoever. And I went and got my degree, and I started actually having daytime visions of high technology, and I started building them. And the first one was a magnetic levitator, and it levitates metal objects. Nothing touches it. It actually levitates. And I just saw the vision in my head, and it was much like a CAD program. It was turning slowly. I could see how it worked, the wiring and everything. And I immediately went home, stayed up all night, and made the device out of used TV parts. And by morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, I was levitating small pieces of metal. So I began to work on other projects, and I really fascinated with a photonic processor, a light-operated computer instead of electricity. And it carries much more data on a light beam than electricity. And so I began to develop that. And the first device, was the memory side of it, which I called a multi-dimensional data storage device. And it's similar to a clear, semi-clear CD or DVD disc, but it had multi-dimensional refractions in it, similar to a diamond. How you can look into a diamond and see all different angles, fractals, etc. And so it stored a lot of data. So then I began to make a processor that could handle that much data. And I went to the patent attorney, and I just, wanted to patent this device before I got any further. And that's when the trouble started. I didn't realize that there's so much corruption in, my country. I love my country, don't get me wrong, what is left of it. And, I began to be followed, and I took a break from the patent process, and I went down to my parents' house, and we were all watching TV, and all of a sudden I got a slight ringing in the ears, and I've never had tinnitus, never had any health problems whatsoever. And so I went in the next bedroom, my old bedroom, and laid down, and I just picked up, the Bible and started reading Revelations. And all of a sudden, the TV in the other room with my parents started flipping channels faster and faster and faster, to where there's no way a person could be changing the channels that fast. So I thought, the TV is messing up. I don't know what's going on. And then a sound of arcing electricity come closer and closer, like a zzz, and then boom, the TV blew up with a loud noise, and then screams and violins come over the speaker. And I'm like, what is going on with the TV? And just then, a pickup truck pulls up, and this is at nighttime. The house is locked up. A guy walks in and starts, a very loud voice, says, "You're going to have to turn down emotions. We can't keep blowing equipment. We lost Alpha to Zulu." And there's a pause. And then he says, "I don't know. He just walked in his room." And from that day on, I was attacked electronically. Very, very debilitating, ultra loud shrieking, electronic shrieking in both ears. I could not continue the patent process. I lost everything. Lost my jobs. Even friends and family were like, "What is going on with you, Dave?" And it just totally destroyed my life. And after 3 years, I said, I'm an electronic engineer. This is an electronic attack covertly using high technology. Why can't I make something that sounds like the tinnitus, the artificial tinnitus, and interfere with it? And I begged God for help. And that's the same time I wired 2 IC chips together randomly. I didn't have no plan, no schematic. And when I turned it on, it made the strangest sounds. And I recorded them and played it on headphones, and boom, it knocked out my artificial tinnitus. I began to heal, and I got back everything times 1,000. And then I began to give it away on my website. And so far, we're up to 2,000 people helped by this sound mix with where did these visions come from? And, did I invent the photonic processor, or was it a warning from God? Hey, I want to give you some information. You're about to be attacked by this. Here's how it works. Or did I invent it using my mind? We are essentially electromagnetic beings. We transmit and receive energy, whether people know it or not. And, technology is really being used against us. And that's the whole reason I'm here, because I love my country, and I'm really trying to warn people about what is going on. And
When you said,
it's really dangerous.
yeah, when you said you wanted to patent a computer that is running on light beams. So do I understand correctly that the light would have replaced the electricity?
Yes. The data bus would be essentially a rainbow. Each color would be a data stream, and there's multiple ways to multiplex data on a light beam. Fiber optics today would be similar.
And I'm sorry if this question sounds so stupid, but that computer would have worked in darkness as well.
Yeah, it would be self-contained. Even a simple CD player uses a simple red laser beam, and it reflects off of the spinning disc. That's an oversimplified version of mine. Mine would hit the disc with a white laser containing all colors. The disc spinning, some would be reflected, different colors containing data. Half of the beam would go through the disc and collect. There would be collectors underneath the disc, so it would send out a lot of data all at one time, and it would you know,